What's up, guys? Taking a look at Ethereum here, we can see we are holding support and we are continuing to consolidate after that mega dump we had. Not this Sunday, but the one before that. And so, yeah, it's been stabilizing. We are building a base. That's exactly what we want to do, right? We came violently down, automatic rally back to the upside, and then we sort of flag out a little bit, and now we're starting to consolidate sideways a little bit, right? So then the idea would for it to be sort of doing something like that, right? You got the sell side, the accumulation, and the buy side. Let's see if we can confirm a buy curve. And the way you do that is step 1, breaking above the downward resistance line, which we did. Then step 2 would be breaking above horizontal support, which we have not done. Another way you can measure that is take a parallel channel from the top here all the way to the bottom. I'm not going to use the wick down here because it's just way too much. I'm just using the intermediate range here that we see. And you can see we are pretty much in the middle of this range. And that's exactly where I'm going to put my resistance line, is where this line is. So that's actually right there. Okay, so we are step 1, step 2, and now we need to essentially hold a trend line here. So we really don't have much of a trend. I mean, there's really nowhere to see it. So it's going to need some time, right? We can flag out into this area again before continuing higher. That would give us a sign, maybe come back, retest, or we continue to consolidate, right? So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. The other way is that we still need to retest a lower point of this wick. So you take this whole wick and you cut it in half. That could be the target, somewhere down there where we have to sort of make our way up or make our way back down, work our way back up, and then sort of finish off in an ABC style retracement of this major dump we had. Retesting some of the lows, filling in some of those orders, and then basically building a base in here and then continuing higher, right? But the point of all of this is what is, it's really hard to navigate what it's going to do in here. But if we can get a pretty decent sense of where it's going after that, in the grand scheme of things, then it's about building up your long position or your short position or whatever you are going to do, right? Or even dollar cost averaging in your hodl position, what have you. So in my opinion, I think we're going to ultimately go up. So we have to, see more evidence of that at the lows, so that's sort of our bullish thesis, right? Building sideways, maybe hitting the low down here, then going. But if it's going to be bearish, then ultimately this low is going to be taken out. And if it's taken out, then it completely changes everything. But if it's so long as we hold it, I think we're doing pretty good establishing support in here and then work your way off of that. But if we start to work our way down after that, after consolidating so long, then it could be something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be your C, right? And then you would have your A, and then your B, and your C, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. That's possible, but since this was so massive, it's going to be very hard to break that wick. And if we did break the wick, we really want it to react very fast and get some major bullish divergence in here. Because remember, the RSI during that time, let's take a look at it, right? Pretty oversold. So if somehow we work our way down and we take the low and then we get a higher low in the RSI, that could be a signal for a fifth wave. But the way I'm looking at it now, just to me seems more like 3, 3, and 3. And this was enough, right? So now this was a 3-wave pullback. It was a flat. Build some base, build some accumulation, build off of it, and then get through your retrace and then go. Right? So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Pretty simple, right? 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, go. Or 3, 3, and then we get 5, and then we go. But if we come down and get 5, and we come up back up in 3, at that point, if we go up in 3 and then we get rejected here, then that's when you know it's pretty much game over for a long time at least. And a long time in crypto is actually not that long. So, but yeah, that's a later time. We're not even near that, right? I'm just saying the possibility could be something like that. But for me, so when you zoom out on this whole thing, I mean, we have a 3-way pullback, right? However, this is all without going into price discovery. So if we want to go into price discovery, then we need this 3-way pullback to get us out of there. Otherwise, this could be a move like, let me show you one more time, boom, boom, and then we go down. So it's a much bigger, very bearish wave before we go much higher. Right? So then that's a massive ABC in this here. But the reason I don't like that is because this wave is only 3, 1, 2, 3. If this wave would have been 5, this wave here, then that would have opened the possibility for this to be, you know, a big ABC or a big flat, right? But since this came down in 3, this can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be though 3, 3, and then it could be 5 down, and then you can get 3 back up and then 3 back down, getting in a much bigger 3-way move down, right, into reaccumulation, then continue higher, right? You would have 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. No. So what I want to see from Ethereum is the lows hold, because if you look at it, we are inside of this base here, and we did test it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So it's a solid structure. And from my perspective, we're just testing the lower part of the structure. Now that it's been tested, it's been held for over a week, more than a week, right? And it's still got, you know, maybe another week or maybe 2 weeks. We'll see. But eventually we want to see it get back to the top and challenge the top. So we're just looking for the range. Now, if we break below the range, we want to see if we can retest it as resistance or break through it and get back above it, because that would be the big pivot right there. If we break below and retest it as resistance, then that's not going to be good at all. At least for a little while until things play out. But on this perspective, you know, we do have a three-way move here. Now, is the three-way move finished? We're going to have to wait and see. But I think it has a big possibility of being so. And that's what I'm thinking right now. Now, could we retest 50% of that wick, come back down a little bit and just drizzle down, retesting the low, maybe even getting closer than that? You know, it's possible and maybe even likely. But the overall direction still, I think, is up. So let's look at what's Monero doing here. Man, Monero is just still holding very strong here. Look at these very bullish wicks here. Basically, we creeped our way up. We broke this here, and now we're basically holding right in here. We're closing above here. So looks like maybe if I draw that better, we have some kind of descending triangle here. Right there. So, you know, maybe we're about to break soon. We'll see. So, you know, we kind of are testing it right in here. Let's see if we can continue. If I zoom in a little bit. Whoa, look at that. So I actually bought the dip right there. Why did I buy it? Because of the three-way pullback. So we had boom, 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 right? And then once I saw these three candles in here, I figured that this was a liquidity grab because it was testing it. So I took a shot and I added to my long. We shot up and I didn't even realize we shot up. Came back down. I think this was at night, so I had went to sleep. And yeah, and then I think I woke up and we were like right around there. So, and then we kind of flagged out again, basically another buy opportunity, missed that one. But yeah, this is interesting. Let's see if we can continue this momentum. Because, you know, again, with Monero, this thing is a giant accumulation, and basically we cocked back in here. So we had this 1 2 1, and then we cocked back for another 2. We broke above this multi-year base. We back tested it. We came up, we tested the highs, we came back down and back tested it. That's known as a flat, and so far it's a running flat. So like A, B, C, running flats are some of the most bullish in the world for charts because it's so bullish that when you correct, you're actually correcting the price above the high. And then the A, the B, and then the C wave actually comes down, and it doesn't even take the wave A out. Oftentimes going 50% of wave B, and then it continues higher. So you have an A, B, C. That's a running flat. See, it's the way you know it's running is because it's like it's running, you know, and if it's expanded, that means it's expanded flat, that means it's taking the low. And if it's just a regular flat, that's equal highs, equal lows. Or no, the high could be higher, or the retrace, the B wave could be higher. But the C wave could be, is the same. So looking at the 3-day candle, I mean, that thing is bullish to me. Still very bullish for Monero. Because we also have this sort of 3-way move here that also looks like a running flat. See how it was an A, B, C. It didn't take the low of A. And as long as the B wave goes up 90%, which it looks like it did, then it qualifies as a running flat. And if that's the case, this could be a 1 and a 2 here. See how it flagged out for a 2? Maybe we're going up in that third. It's a tough call. I mean, it's really hard to know, but that's why you just got to keep an eye on it and see. But I think it's going higher. I think this is bullish. Now, if it's not bullish, then to me, it's going to be a bigger flat. So we have a boom, and then we come down here, and then we go up. So it's a more elongated flat, basically a bigger base here on top of your already back testing the previous base. But I don't think that's going to be the case unless we take out these lows. I'm assuming higher. So we'll see. Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong, and we could go to zero. So you never know. Litecoin looks amazing. It looks amazing. I like it because you had this C19 style fractal here. You know how it kind of goes up and it slams the low, and then you drizzle up. I mean, you basically react up, and then you kind of just cock back and you just consolidate. Boom, 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 boom. And then you have that first markup, and then following that markup, you know, you're like stepping. And then you have this 3-wave down, 3-wave up, and then 3-wave back down. You have this perfect, and I mean perfect 3-wave pullback. And then when you get out of it, look at the reaction off of the 3-wave pullback. Extremely bullish. Guys, I'm bullish. I don't know what else to say. It looks insane to me. I can't believe how many people are bearish right now. This price structure, guys, is bullish. And then another way you can figure that out is when you look at this 3-wave move down here. It scared the living daylights out of everybody. But what that 3-wave move was doing was correcting the previous 2 waves, which is this one here and this one here. The market moves in threes. It had to finish the 3rd wave. And when it finished the wave 3 strikes you're out, the person gives up, right? But we don't give up because we know the tricks, because you guys subscribe and you guys know. So, you know, I think this is ultimately, you could see how it came up here, a 1, consolidating sideways, not even coming down to retest the lows. It's so bullish, it did not want to test the lows. It said, hell no, I'm cool. Came right back up here, got your downward resistance line. You got a cup, you got a head, and you got another shoulder here. You got an inverse head and shoulders potential there. So it doesn't mean it's going to break out today or tomorrow or even next week, but I think it's gearing up for that. And who knows, it might even be tonight. I mean, the way it's looking right now, I mean, that's pretty nice. This could also come back down like an A, B, C, right? And then you come here and you back test this little range, build a little base, and then continue higher. And that whole thing might take, you know, several days. So it doesn't mean we're going to blast off right away, but I think we're gearing up to that, because this is all lead-in stuff. This is your run-in stuff, and this is your cockback. This is your 3-wave. I mean, look at that move. And the posture, it's all about the posture. You know, when a cat is cornered, it puts its back up in the air. It's posturing up. Like, fool, you gonna mess with me, you're gonna die. I'm gonna scratch you, right? You know, these cats are pretty crazy. Anyways, they, you know, or any animal getting in a very violent looking posture, like, you know, something's about to happen. That's sort of the wave structure that we try to identify. And to me, Litecoin is exhibiting that type of behavior, at least right now, right? And it's frustrating because it takes so long, right? It takes time for it to mature. It's not like, okay, you see it and then it has to react. So anyways, that's Litecoin. Let's look at XRP. XRP looks also pretty dang bullish, very bullish. XRP was not a running flat, it was an expanded flat. So we had an A, B, C right there. It was a big fourth wave, and the time that it took to get to the bottom was about 62 days. For a fourth wave, that's not bad. And if you look at the top of this, and it's a little subjective where you put it, but I'm just going to put it at the high. Well, actually, see, we never made another low. So if you measure the second wave, it actually ended in 18 days. But in reality, it took much longer than that. So if I measure it from here back to here, that's about 95 days. So it's still in the realm of the same ballpark. It's kind of debatable. Is it more like 17 days, or if you add it all together, more like 90 days, or if you average it out, it's most likely like 60 days. And that's exactly what this is. So this wave and this wave is in the same degree. And if it's in the same degree, then we should expect another one of these guys. And that should also be in the same degree. And this was massive. And a lot of times you get extended fifth waves, right? So you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extended fifth. And it doesn't look extended because you're on log scale, right? But that is getting up to that $9, $10, $11, $12 is pretty extended. And if we take this, we can see exactly where we should line up to. So the 1-to-1 extension comes right at $10, right? If we had an extended fifth wave, you could get up to $21, $30, right? So, but that's on log scale. If I put it on linear scale, a 4.236 extension comes in at about $12. And that is definitely in the ballpark of where I think we could go. So, and if we look at XRP back in the day, you can see we had something very, very similar. This exact same style, right? Where we ran up, right? We broke out, and then we had a violent back test. We came back up, we went into reaccumulation, and then boom, we continued higher. So if we compare that, and I've shared this before, you can see right around there. You can see that same kind of move right there. So if we can get out of here, something like that, that's pretty much the idea, right? So until then, we're just gonna have to wait, because we are very, very close to breaking out into price discovery. We're at the final stage here, and there's so much in the pipeline, right? You got the ETF, XRP, it should be approved. You got the lawsuit settling or actually getting dropped, which is major. You got regulations. There's things to look forward to for sure. So unless we start breaking lows, there's nothing to be concerned about, completely, right? That being said, we could still retest 50% of that wick and have a little drawdown here, sort of torturing people, maybe even quickly doing something like that, where it just bleeds and takes forever and then it goes, But, I think, just, you can see this is the 3-day chart. So we have 3, 6, 9 days of stabilization. 12 days if you count this candle. So I think that's good. Now, when we zoom in, nothing really is changed. You're kind of building a little base channel here. A lot of times these channels break down, but that's okay, because if you did break down, you would sort of have this lovely three-wave shape, right? Maybe we get a little bit higher, and then we kind of have a drawdown, but it's not so bad, you know, instead of down here, right? So that's kind of more or less what I think. I do like this wave, though. I like that candle. I like that wick right there. That's nice. I mean, look at that candle, that 6-hour candle. That's a very bullish looking candle to me. Let's zoom in on that. Let's see, 4-hour looks really good. You came down, you created this base in here, you had this liquidity grab, and then you reacted. Now you're battling the retracement levels. You could go into reaccumulation, you could flag out and continue, something like that. Or you're gonna bleed down, but I don't know. I just, you know, you're in a range, so it's always difficult, right? You're at the bottom of the range, you're at the top of the range. So you just have to assume that's what it's gonna do until it breaks out one way or another, right? To me, it doesn't matter where this range breaks out of, because even if it breaks down, I still think a three-way move, right? If we break up, you know, then I'm going to think we're going to have to kind of flag out again anyway. You know, kind of get this W pattern look in here. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways it can move. The point is, where is it ultimately going to go? I think higher. So we'll see. ADA, basically ADA is the same. Well, when you zoom in, it is a little bit different, but more or less the same in certain ways. But look at that three-way move, man. I mean, that's beautiful. You know, XRP is more of an expanded flat like this. This is more of like an ABC like that. So different shapes. I like this shape a lot. I like the impulse. I like the cockback, and I like the reaction breaking that downward resistance line. You know, so it looks pretty good. You know, I see the way it came up, and then it kind of slingshotted back. Boom, boom. Makes you second guess. Makes you second guess. Makes you second guess. Torture, torture, torture. And then boom. Takes it all back. And it's like, oh man. And then you get back in, and then it comes back down. You know, so no, I don't know. I think I think ultimately higher is the direction. But look at the move. I mean, you know, look at this. You come down, you mark a low, accumulation. I mean, look at the sideways. You break out massive, and then you have this three-way pullback. And then you're cocking back in here. I mean, we could go pretty aggressively pretty soon. I don't think it's a 1-2 to the downside, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I don't have 5 waves. Now it could be a WXYXZ, but that would still mean more upside. So we could have a W, an X, a Y, an X, and a Z, and then break out. So basically a big flag. You're flagging out, you break out. Or you have a WXY and you go. Or you have a 335 and then you go. But I don't think it's a 5 because it looks finished. So it's got to be finished, in my opinion. And I think build a little bit of a structure in here and start to work your way out of there. Because this is in the same degree as that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. That's pretty much it. Filecoin, much more bearish looking because it's a much bigger three-way pullback. If I zoom out, now you can see it. Now it's a much bigger three. This is way bigger, right? Because the three-way pullback we were looking at ADA was right here. But this just looks like it fell off a cliff, you know, so But I still think it's very bullish because we're at the lows right in here. Very, very, very significant lows in here. Even if you go back further than this, you can see there's lows over here. So a lot of key lows in there. Let's bring it back over here, and there you go. So I think this is very good buy the dip territory, at least from historical perspective. And as long as we hold in here and we accumulate and we go sideways, then we can build upon that and eventually break out. But you know, it's going to take time. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. If we shoot up very aggressively, very fast, then I'm going to think we're going to have to flag out a lot later on. Probably the best thing we could do is pump until summer, and then flag out all summer, and then finish towards the end of the year. I mean, that would be the sort of the best way I would have hoped for it to play out too. So where is summer at? So I would say right around May, the end of May. Sell in May and go away, as they say. We have 3 up. We have 3 down. Perfect. Now let's go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it would have to be very aggressive. And then we flag out. And I forgot to put a dang line from the end of it. So the end would be... I would say like October. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you flag out in the summer, and then once you hit past October, November, December, even January, February of the following year, that's when you get your finale. That's the big long approach, right? So, and that's kind of what I think, if all goes well, if all goes planned, right? Otherwise, you know, I mean, it's different for XRP though. I think XRP, you know, when we look at it, it's probably much closer to the end of it, you know, unless we have a big mid-cycle correction like we did back over here. So the most bullish thing for XRP would do that same thing, right? If we go to, you know, June or May, and we ended around October, somewhere around there, ballpark, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? You get that 5th wave, basically a spring 5th wave, and then we go into pullback during the summer because it's always bearish. Every summer is always bearish. You know, what if this time is different? Hey, then great, let's go. And then at the end of the summer, you have October, November, December, very bullish months for crypto, and then you come up and finish it. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you get way up here, you know? I mean, that's like super best case scenario though. But what's more realistic is if we just have one more wave up and then it's over. And basically, but I just, you know, the proportion would, you know, you have this big triangle, you break out, you reach the target, and then it's done. It doesn't keep going higher. It goes into a bear market. But if we can shoot up and still have a lot of strength, then we can have a pennant like we did over here. Remember this pennant right over here? And then we shot up, and then we shoot up at the end, and it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 3. I like it. I like it a lot. Look at that. Problem is you only have 3 waves here. And that's where the root canal continued to grow. You know, so but yeah, and I, you know, but you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You do have a 5-wave move here. You got a 3-wave pullback. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave 3 of wave 5, right? Yeah. So if we zoom out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then now we're in 5. So we're in wave 5, right? And in wave 5, we need 5 waves. So if we look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5, that's the third wave. So if this is 1, 2, all of this is 3, then we flag out for summer for a wave 4, then we go and finish for a wave 5 somewhere October, November, December of this year. And then the bear market is here. So that's a possibility. And that's what I really hope for crypto as a whole. Right? That's best case scenario. Now, as far as price goes, I mean, you know, we'll get into that later, but it's still going to be around that $10, $12 area. But if we get that fifth wave, maybe we get a $20, maybe a $27 hit on the log scale, 1618. That's what it shows. So anyway, all right, let's look at theta. And Solana looks okay here. Three-way pullback. Jupiter staying nice and steady. H-bar, what a nice three-way pullback. That's the same kind of thing. Look at that three-way pullback. Looks really good. Zoom out. And I think we even had some 9s in here. We're about to get a 9 on the 3-day, but on the 2-day, I think, yep, there's the 9. So that's a 9 buy. And that will be activated if we break above these red dots. So if we break above the red dot, you need a green 2 going above a green 1, going above the red dots. That's how it activates the sequential for another count. Now, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but, you know, that's just the way it goes. But we have the signal here, and if you use it in conjunction with Elliott wave, for example, you got a 9 at the end of a 3-wave pullback. So you had a 3-wave pullback on a 9. Nikola Tesla, 369, right? It's all energy. It's all related. So, yeah. All right, where's theta at? There we go. So theta is, whoa, look at you go. Let me zoom in on that. Okay, not bad. So you're at the you're up here, right? So if you look at the range as a whole, you know, you're sort of in that middle area. So we're doing good with that. Zoom out real quick. Also looks good. I mean, I don't like this 3-wave shape though as much because it was just so droopy. You know, it wasn't like it was springy. You know what I mean? Like how the posture looks springy versus the posture looking droopy, like weak and ill and sick, you know. But nonetheless, the main thing is this 3-way pullback right here, 1, 2, 3, and this 3-way pullback does look good. But the problem is when you have a droopy 3-way pullback here, it begs the question, well, what if that was a wave 2 and then we get a wave 3 and then a wave 4, 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have this 3-way pullback and then we go up later. Well, that could spell more disaster in the meantime. But as it looks now, you know, the best thing I think is keep going sideways. Instead of it going straight up, I'd rather it go sideways a little bit more and then start going up. Create a stronger support system. That way, if you had to come back down, you have more support holding you for another shot to the upside. So exactly, I mean, that to me, that's important. So, yeah, but nothing really much has changed. It's doing what it needs to do. Coming up, coming back down. Now it looks like we're kind of shifting gears a little bit. I got a nice 8-hour candle there, right back to the close. Let's see if we can work through that and get back to the upper part of the range. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, Matic looks good. Very tight, very sort of got a very tight posture. You know, it's very condensed, and I like that because it shows that volatility slowing down, accumulation happening, right? So we kind of have this move down, and then we kind of have this move up. So maybe we could get another 3-wave down. So you have this impulse up, and then a 3-wave pullback, and then a continuation. So that's kind of what I would want to see, something like that. Maybe it doesn't take so long, but you know. Link. You know, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. I don't know. It does look really good, but I just don't really like this wave here. Now that I see the way it's shaping here, it just doesn't look like this wave here belongs with what this did. You know, it looks kind of different. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but anyways, you still have 3, and a lot of reasons too is because you have the flats, right? So this is a B, C, it's a flat for a B wave. You have 3 down, 3 up, and then so far 3. Could this be a 4 and a 5 later? We'll see. But as it sits here, that's a 3-wave move. So can we build and can we break? Algo looks really good too. Really good. You got a little bit of a cup there. Got a little bit of a handle here. Is that a cup and handle there? See a cup and a little bit of a handle. I don't really think they work out as well as some other patterns. I mean, it depends where they're at, but if it's a small one like this, sometimes, yeah, maybe it might need to flag out again and then break it. What about a meme coin? SHIB? Yeah, I mean, you got this big move here, and you're retesting the lows. You got a big 3-wave pullback. Holding. Let's go. If this is a 1, 2, 3, and then we get a 4 and then a 5, then obviously that's, you know, it's gonna just take way more time because ultimately we will go higher, I believe. I mean, the chart looks good. You know, you got this nice cup here. You got this nice looking range. Boom, boom, boom. And then anytime you get a range like this, right? You get a 3-wave pullback inside the range. I mean, to me, that's good, right? Especially when you mark up into the lows into the retracement areas. So because that tells me this is the slingshot that we need to break out of here, or at least it's setting up that way. A lot of times too, as it sets it up, it goes for it, but then it fails later on, you know. So, you know, everything has to work out. But yeah, I think it looks great. ICP looks pretty good too, man. I like the way it looks. I like the 3-wave move. That's what you look for, right? And you really want 3 waves in this wave, or you want 5 waves. It could either be 3 or it could be 5. How do you know? You just, you know, well, one way you could know is if this is 5. If this wave is 5, then this should be 5. But sometimes it's not so easy, you know? So, but yeah, I like the way it's shaped. It's a nice shape. So if I zoom in, same thing. It's sort of just doing whatever, you know, consolidating, working itself out. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't really like if I look at it like this, you can see how it comes down and then you see how it goes up. It went down correctively and then it is going up correctively. Anytime that happens, usually you come back down. And what that does is it creates 3 waves. And then once you get that 3 waves, then you should expect it to go up. And then once it goes up, the question is, do we break the highs? Is it impulsive, not this corrective crap that we see right here? So that's what we're going to wait and see. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can hit the subscribe, drop a like button, let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys on the next one.